Hey guys, I'm not sure if this is working, so I'll just wait until I see people coming in. Let's see it. I'm not sure, I've never used this before, so somebody should probably comment I'm doing this right or not. I'm wondering, it says live right now. Double check that I'm doing this right. Let's see it. Oh, good. People are watching. Good. Okay, so we'll just wait a little because I started a little bit early, I think, if my clock is right. So we'll just wait. Good, I'm doing this right. I had confirmation. Okay, so my name is Adrienne Karangujo. I'm from Quebec, Canada. I'm an intern for LRT. I'm presently a senior from the women's basketball team here at University of Texas, and I'm graduating in May. And I hope that everybody had a great day today, not so stressful. And by college and high school can be hard sometimes. So I won't lie, I'm going to start off saying like I'm a little bit nervous about this. This is my first time doing a live video. So, and I'm not even sure if Locker Room Talk has ever made a video about how to deal with stress, but I guess this will be a good example tonight as well. So, but on a more serious note, and not really serious because today is more going to be about fun and exchanging ideas and sharing stories about my personal experience with time management. So today we'll talk, as I said, about time management, and we'll mention things about habits, organization, relationship, and sacrifice. And just a heads up, if you have any question about my subject or about time management or anything about college or student athlete related, just ask and comment on it so I can just answer it at the end. I'll just have a quick section where I can answer question in the end before leaving and signing off. So let's start off with habits. I know that people all think that they have good habits, but the truth is that they don't. And this is where it all starts when you do time management. If you had good habits, you can basically just leave the live now. And if you don't, you must watch the video and you must share it on your personal page after. But I'm just kidding. If you do have good habits, you still have to stay. But seriously though, every time in life, habits are related to how good you do in your work, your homework, and your on the court or on the field work. So it's really, really important that you focus on them, and just remember that everything in life can be practiced and improved if you really put work into it. Also, if you can build strong habits from the start, it's preferable. But don't remember that there's never a great time or a perfect time to start doing what you can do at your best. Like you can always decide that tomorrow you'll do better than yesterday. And there's never, as I said, there's never a set time to decide that you want to make a change in your life. So a couple tips about this section. I would say that the most important is like you have to start in high school. I know some people are probably on the live and saying, oh, wow, this girl's crazy. Starting in high school, we're supposed to still have fun, play AAU, and just enjoy life. But the truth is that if you don't prepare in high school, college is going to hit you 10 times harder than it would if you would have prepared before. And one story that I have about this is that every year I was curious about knowing about my American teammates, since I'm international, what they were thinking about this process of coming in and being a freshman and leaving home. And the hardest thing they said, and I thought that was going to be, leaving my parents was really hard. But the first thing that they always mentioned is the academic side of things and how hard it was to adapt to being on a strict schedule and actually going to study all and having to do and produce so much work compared to what they had to do in high school. So that was one thing that they really focused on when I asked the questions. So that's really one thing I wanted to share with you all, that academics seems to be easy in college, and some of your friends might say, oh, it's okay, it's all right, you'll survive. But the truth is, like, you're gonna have to adapt, and if you can work it out in high school, it will be so much better. So the second thing I want to talk about is organization. So it's basically, it includes just staying aware of what you need to accomplish day by day. And I think that a lot of people are struggling with this. I struggled with it when I came into college. And really the tips that I would have would be just to make a list. I know some people don't like lists. You can make an agenda, or as an athlete, what I do and what we have to do at Texas is that we have to fill out a calendar every time, like at the beginning of the year. And when you get all your syllabus from your classes and you know when your first exams are going to be, or your first assignment are going to be due, you just write them down. So you do a calendar for each month: September, what exam you're going to have, what homework is assigned, and when is it due, and is it due online or on paper. So these are all things that you can do to prepare yourself better for college. As well as you can always use your hand. I know my mom's going to be, if she watches this right now, she's going to be like, Audrey, you did not just say that. But it's true that if you have something on your head, you're going to remember when you wash your hand to do it. I always do it. And let's be honest, between college and high school students, we do much worse thing to our body than write with Hank. So let's just be honest on that. There's also, I found out, and I didn't even know, there's so many apps out there, and I know everybody has a phone or has some type of technology that you can use in order to manage your time better. And I wrote them down somewhere. Yeah, so I found the best one. So if you want to take them in notes, there's Evernote is one, Focus Booster, 30 on 30, Listastic, and To Do. And these are all like different type of apps that can adapt to, like, some people might not like being time or anything, so you wouldn't like the Focus Booster. But if you like to be time and actually knowing like how much time you need to get this done in, you can do the 30 and 30, which is really good. So there's also, I want to talk about sacrifice, because it's one thing that I think, like, we assume that there is sacrifice when you go into college, but we don't assume that there's so much sacrifice in academics. And I think that's one thing that you need to remember. So it's really just about prioritizing your own work over any other things, such as like napping. Yes, I said the word napping. So you cannot, sometimes you have to do your own work and you cannot sleep. And over napping, parties, social events is like, I cannot mention it enough. It's like crucial that you prioritize your own work sometimes if you do want to pass the class and not have to redo it. And I know for y'all party animals out there that are watching, this might take a while to adapt, but with practice, as I mentioned earlier, it's doable. Like, trust me, I know. And no, I BA'd in college. I'm kidding. I did BA in college, but I did have to adapt to certain social event that I couldn't attend because I had practice in the morning and I had assignment due. So one thing that I would say for sacrifice, just a couple tips that I had in mind, would be when traveling, because it's in season, let's be honest, if you're in college and you're watching this right now, you already know that it's very common to travel multiple times a week. And we all know that if you don't do your work before the game or before your practice or anything that you have, there's no way that after a 3-hour, 4-hour practice, you're gonna be going home hungry and thirsty. And you're gonna be like, oh, let's sit down and do homework. Like, there's nobody that says that, except if you really love and enjoy school and doing it while you're exhausted. So that's one thing. And I have a funny story about this. You should, like, my teammates used to always say, oh, no, it's okay. Like, we don't need to do study all on the plane to go. Let's say we were traveling to Kansas City. And it would say, no, we'll do it like after when we come back from the game. And we would have like 7:30, come back on the plane. It would be 9:30, 10. And it would be like, oh, it's going to be fine. We're going to be okay. And by the time 10 o'clock hits and everybody's on the plane ready to go back home, everybody's sleeping. And really we just won the game probably. And there's nobody that's going to go tell us, oh, go do your homework, you have something due tomorrow. You can only tell yourself to do it, but at the same time, you're exhausted from the game. So that's one tip that I really had that really helped me in college, is to do everything before the game. And you're also so much more relaxed when you know you're going into a game and you only have to focus on the game plan and not what your sociology teacher or your math teacher said that you had to complete for the next day. And one thing that I want to say about habits too was that it's really important to just focus on what you can do better every day. So you cannot wake up one day and say, oh, I'm just going to change my personality and become a better student. It's really working at it. I really want to emphasize that, because I know that I make it seem as if it's easy, but it's not easy. You're going to hit some up and down, and it's not going to be fun all the time, but it's going to be worth it in the end. And everybody wants a degree in their hand, whether it's high school or college or graduate students. So these are all things that you can use throughout your academic career per se. There's also about managing your time when you travel. You can always talk to your teacher. I know some teams are fortunate about having academic advisor coming in with them and helping them manage their time. But for people that do not have this privilege and that have to do it by themselves, I think communicating is such a big point that we have to emphasize. And I think just it turns around to saying that you need to build relationship. And as I mentioned, you cannot emphasize this enough. I've learned this really, really in a really bad way my freshman year, when I was not communicating with my teacher, and they weren't aware that I was traveling for games, and I ended up not being able to almost pass the class because of this. But I was really working hard in this class, but I just couldn't make it because I was traveling so much. So just remember to build relationship, and also constant communication. I'm not saying to text your teacher about your grade and text your teacher about what needs to be done every single day, but just to have a constant relationship and communication with your professor, advisor, and also other students. Honestly, other students can help you go through these hard times and also manage your time within the class setting or off the class setting as well. And I think that a quick tip that I have, and it's gonna sound weird, but it's always good to the first day of class, you have to see the student that goes sit in the first row, or when you can spot somebody that looks really, really smart, go sit beside them. And I'm not even saying that because I want y'all to go cheat or anything. Don't take it that way. It's not that way. So it's not for cheating. It's really just for academic purpose. Just go sit beside them, and you can learn so much from how a person takes notes, and how a person behaves in class, and how a person organizes how she's going to do assignment. And you never know, the smartest people at your college might end up being billionaires or CEO of amazing companies that you might want to work for later on in life. So you never know who you're going to meet in class. So just sit beside the smart people. That's a really, really good advice I have. So in conclusion, really it's all about building relationship and building habits, and just building some more skills that you do not have, and just keep on working on them throughout your academic career. I can see a major difference from my freshman year and the stress level I had compared to the stress level I have now, because I've learned how to manage my time. So even though I'm a senior and I have so many projects due and coming up in the 2 weeks, and have the GRE and the TFI to go graduate school, I've learned to manage my time so well that my stress level doesn't need to be as high, and I don't need to worry about spending the whole night being awake on my computer and doing homework, because I know how to manage my time efficiently. And this will also help you get some organizational skills, which will help you get a job later. I know a lot of employer loves that when a student is organized. So if you can just start working on it in high school and be great at it by the end of college, and you might just get a job from being great at what you do and being just having great habits, to be honest. And keep in mind that practice always gets better. and you will not see the results after a day, as I mentioned. You just have to keep working at it. It's anything on the field. Athletes that can relate right now, it's nothing you're gonna practice that is new. Will get you somewhere the next day. You just have to keep practicing, and you'll see, like, after a couple months, you'll see major change, and you would just be like amazed by them. Like, that's one thing that I realized. And even though it's about time management, it's not really like, you didn't learn how to dunk or do a spin move layup or anything. It's still something major that will help you in life. So keep in mind that academics are as important as the sport and the skill that you develop in the sports. So let's see if there's any question now. So I'm gonna look. As I mentioned, I've never done a live before, so I'm not sure how this works. So we'll see how it goes. Thanks, Kendall. So Amanda is asking, what are some great ways to time manage when you're on the road for away games and missed class? So as I said, really is the biggest thing for me that works is doing your homework before the trip. So if you know you're gonna miss 2 days of school or whatever, do the homework before you go on the trip so that you do not have to play your game and then come back the next day, be exhausted, and then have to run around to find your teacher and ask him, like, what did we do in class? Instead of just, like, you could have go see him a week ahead of time and ask him, hey, I'm gonna miss this class on Thursday. Is it possible to have the material in advance so I can learn and I can ask it like a fellow student, like what we do in class and how did we use this worksheet? So I think that's really one thing that really helps me personally when we travel away. Rachel's asking, any advice on how to approach teacher with a strict? That's a really great question. Actually, I have a teacher like this right now, and I've actually had, she's giving me the baddest grade right now, and I'm gonna go talk to her tomorrow. No worries about this, but she's been like on me because I've been missing so many classes because of basketball and because of my team was really, really good. So we kept on going in the NCAA tournament, and when she learned that we made the tournament, she, like, I don't know how you say it in English, but she did like a big expression for it, and she was like, and I was just like, okay, this is nice. Your team is going to the NCAA tournament. You should be happy. But I would say that it's really like get your advisor on board as well. Like as soon as your advisor know that you have struggled with one of your teacher that is more strict, they're going to be able to help you out. Like my advisor has been amazing at communicating with my teacher. And I've been communicating with her, but sometimes when it comes to that and then they're super strict, I would say that another adult that is in the academic system that talks to them should be really, really helpful, and they might take them more seriously, and which is sad, but because we're all adults in college, but sometimes it works better if you let adult manage adults. So what is an advice you would give on juggling sports? Okay, that's a good one. Yeah, so as I mentioned, in my freshman year, I was really, really stressed. Like I was the most stressed, and Kendall, that is on the live right now, can tell you that I was really, really stressed in school, and I wanted to do well, and I thought that A+ was the only way. And I've learned that you can't really be in a mental health, like good mental health stage and be a great basketball player and be a great student at the same time without like having great management skills. So I would say that the best advice I could give would be just to, you need to know when to work and you need to know when to have fun, because as much as you work, you need to have time to relax and rest, and you got time to go. If you want to go to a party, sometimes you can go to a party, but you cannot prioritize parties or social events or anything else over academics. Like you just need to know the limit and not cross it. How does time management differ between high school and college? For me, I've been to different school systems. I've changed school 8 times, so in high school. So I would say that back home in Canada, the high school system was much more rigorous and much more strict. So I would say it was kind of the same as in college. But when I came to the US, I realized the major difference between high school and college. And I would say that it's just like practice are so much more intense too in college and are so much more longer than in high school. In high school, you might play soccer and have an hour practice 2-3 times a week, depending on your school. And then you go to college and it's every day for 3 hours. So I would say that it's really juggling and just knowing that your sport is going to demand more from you when you're in college. So therefore, you're going to need to prepare better academically. Do you suggest making your class schedule around your sports? I mean, I can't really suggest it. For us, it's like mandatory. So I wasn't able to take afternoon classes. So I would talk to my advisor about what classes I could take. And she would say, no, you cannot get these classes in the afternoon. That seemed really nice, by the way. And I couldn't take them because my coach wouldn't let me engage in them because it was practice time, which is normal. And a lot of school does that. But I would definitely say that you should talk to your advisor about making a study schedule around your sports, or like if you have to get tutors or anything, you should definitely communicate. Your coach shouldn't be resistant from you asking for a tutor session at night after practice or anything. So they're really flexible usually when you communicate. As I mentioned, communication is really, really important. So as much as you communicate with them, they will help you out. What's your favorite way to organize your schedule for the week? I would say right now my week is much more like school related because I'm training, but I'm not training as much. We're off season right now. But in season, I would say that I'm really like an organized girl. So I love Post-its. I love like drawing them on my hands. I love having calendars and agendas and lists. So I think my favorite thing is just like, the little app on your computer, Notes. I don't even know if you can call that an app. That's how technology, my technology skills are super low. So the Notes app on your computer, if you have a map, I love like putting a ton of things to do. And even like from like cleaning my apartment to like responding to email or anything as such, I love doing that. And I love like the feeling of checking it off. And it might sound like a little crazy, but the feeling of checking it off and having accomplished that is so good to me. So that would like be one way that's just kind of strange, but I know some of you can relate. So you cannot laugh I see you laughing right now. So you cannot. But yeah, that's one thing that I personally really, really enjoy. So that's about it. I think that's all I had for you guys. I don't know if you guys had any more questions. I think I'm just going to double check I responded all. So yeah, I did. So this was it for today. I hope you guys enjoyed. I kept it short. I don't know how long it's been. Oh, 20 minutes, I think. Okay, so that's good. So I didn't disturb your schedule that much. And thank you guys for watching. I hope this is going to help you deal with some stress you guys have towards the end of the year. But we're almost there. Remember this. Some of y'all are graduating. Some of y'all have 1, 2, 3 years. So just hang in there and keep pushing and use these time management tips that I've gave. And if you ever feel stressed or anything, you can always contact LRT. We can make a blog about it, or we can give you tips on how to jungle with school and sports. So there's so many resources out there, so just use them. And I was glad I was able to help you a little tonight. So thank you guys. I'm signing off. I'm not being rude. So I'm just saying bye. Okay? Bye guys. You have a good night.